Imagine you have all offseason to put together the game plan of your life. Months and months of preparing a plan for the debut of your new superstar rookie quarterback to put him in the best possible situation for him to build from the ground up, create a rock-solid base to his career that he can draw from to carry him into the future. But then, this happens. Offensive coordinator Shane Waldron created a disastrous game plan that led to Caleb Williams completing an embarrassing 48% of his passes for 3.2 yards per attempt, a win, but my God, these stats are worse than Shannon Sharp's Instagram password. Today we'll dive into what Waldron's plan was and why it was such a bad fit for Caleb, any rookie quarterback for that matter. And to make it easier, we'll sum it up into two categories: how Waldron put way too much on Caleb's plate, and why the attention to detail for the overall offense was lacking. But before we dive deeper into all of that, I want to thank this week's sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a daily fantasy sports site where you can pick a player every day. They have any sport you can think of. You can predict a million different stats. If you want to make sports even more fun and football more fun and win money doing it, PrizePicks has got you covered. To play, you choose 2 to 6 players and select whether they go more or less than their projection. If you remember, PrizePicks still has the Caleb Williams 0.5 passing number until the end of September. So that means if we choose just one more, we can 3x our money. So I'll take Jaden Reed's under because Malik Willis just ain't it. PrizePicks has the fastest withdrawals of any daily fantasy app I've used. You load up the app, you're done in like 2 seconds. It is so quick. They're also doing a deal where if you put in my promo code Rollins, you put in $5, they will match it with $50. That's promo code Rollins. Our first category, putting too much on Caleb's plate, refers to the spread amount style Waldron decided to implement. He put him in empty formations on 10 of his 29 pass attempts, more than 30%, where an empty formation is when there are no running backs or anybody in the backfield, telling the defense this is a guaranteed passing situation. We've heard of the point guard quarterback, a term meaning the QB's main job is to distribute the ball to his playmakers. Well, empty formations are the ultimate point guard formation, but they require the quarterback to read many different aspects of the defensive coverage, especially if his first read isn't open. On this example out of empty, there is a lot going on here. First off, Waldron has 2 tight ends on the field and has lined them up and the Bears running back to one side of the field. This is to force the tight ends to declare if they're in zone coverage. If they have linebackers matching outside to make sure the cornerbacks are on the receivers, then Caleb would know it's man. But since cornerback Chidobe Awuzie is outside, we know it's zone. So Caleb knows his first read to the right here will be against a zone defense with some sort of too high coverage. Yet, the concept doesn't work. Why doesn't it? First off, this is designed to attack one high coverages. Chalk has a stick route, a slot fade that converts to a seam against 2 high, and a curl outside. Well, we really only want the slot fade against 1 high since he's running away from this hypothetical 1 high safety, so Caleb shouldn't even be looking at this side of the field. The only reason he does is to throw the stick route against a zone linebacker, but Waldron has Mercedes Lewis running the stick instead of Cole Kmet. Lewis is a 40-year-old slow blocker type. Kmet is their receiving tight end. Assuming Waldron had Caleb start with a stick, then told him to come back all the way to the left to the bounce concept, he should have had Caleb start with bounce all along. Bounce is a 2-high beater, which is what the Titans are playing. Bounce beats 2 high safeties because the sit route holds a linebacker who either falls back for the dig or sits on the sit, opening DJ Moore. Because the safety drives on the dig route, if Caleb started to his left, he could have released this ball earlier, seeing Kenneth Murray sitting underneath, not looking at Moore, so Caleb could have back-shouldered this a bit more to hit Moore out of his break. But because Waldron has him reading the wrong side of the field, and also is asking him to read the entire field out of empty, it's too much to put on a rookie quarterback, especially in his debut. Empty concepts are supposed to be quick-hitting concepts where the quarterback takes 1 to 3 step drops. The concept isn't designed for the QB to hold the ball long. The protection isn't designed to hold up long. You're trying to get it out of the quarterback's hands quickly, but here's Waldron running 4 verticals out of empty, a deeper concept, which is a mismatch of ideas for what Waldron wants to run. He had decent ideas, but he struggled to execute them. His plan was to give Caleb pre-snap coverage tells with either formation or motion, or both, to define man or zone, then have him quickly get rid of the ball. But these are NFL defenses, with defensive coordinators who are wizards at mixing up different looks to fool the quarterback. Waldron puts Kmet the tight end outside for Williams to see if a linebacker matches. Again, Awuzie the cornerback does, so he knows it's zone. And when Keenan Allen starts to motion across and nobody follows, again, this is a zone tell, since in man, a cornerback would be following. But then the Titans trick him and do drop into man coverage. They were disguising it all along, and Caleb is completely fooled. The game plan was supposed to be for him to get rid of the ball quick, but when that went awry, he was just 1 for 8 when he held the ball longer than 2.5 seconds. Where was the screen game, the running game, play action? The entire game was placed on his shoulders, and Waldron kept asking him to do really challenging stuff for a rookie. This created a pretty worrisome trend. Caleb was consistently not on the same page with his receivers. You want him to be creating chemistry in his debut so he has something to build off of, but Waldron had him processing so much before the play, during the play, where you can see the Titans disguising this too high safety coverage, so Amani Hooker rolls down to the snap. Keenan Allen sees Hooker coming, but also sees Jack Gibbons the linebacker melting towards him too. But Caleb doesn't see that, leads Allen into Gibbs when Allen is stopped, and Allen gives him a piece of his mind. All of this extra thinking Caleb had to do brought some of his processing issues up from college, where at times he was late throwing to his receivers, which caused incompletions. You can see Rome Odunze come open behind the zone linebacker, but Caleb is processing, still thinking too much with everything put on his plate, takes an extra hitch here, and by the time he gets the ball to Rome, Hooker is closed in and makes a play. With everything he was asked to think about pre and post snap, you can see what even the smallest mistake can do. Odunze sees the safety, Caleb sees the linebacker, and look how Caleb puts it just a hair behind Rome, where Odunze doesn't want to sit down and come back directly towards the ball. He's instead breaking inside just a smidge, which makes the play not work. And speaking of not working, the rest of the offense struggled too, which brings us into our second category. Some of the attention to detail was lacking, at least through one game, and that is on top of Caleb not knowing precisely where his guys were going to be, resulting in errant passes. At times the protection was just terrible. The center Coleman Shelton struggled all game and needs to field the stunting pass rusher. Instead of triple teaming Jeffrey Simmons, Caleb finished the game completing just 1 pass on 7 attempts when pressured, and from an assignment standpoint, Waldron failed to properly prepare his players by not detailing exactly what they needed to do. Here on the backside of this play-action concept, Kari Blasingame is solidifying the edge, which is fine, but he's blocking as if this is a normal drop-back pass concept, not like it's play-action. Caleb's getting about 10-ish yards of depth, but Blasingame is blocking like it's just 6 to 8-ish, and with Keenan Allen wide open, the pass is affected and incomplete. And if that wasn't enough, some of the scheme issues were funky as well. The key to defending the bootleg is having your defensive end get straight up the field to attack the quarterback rolling out. This is tough on the end because his job is to also defend the backside of the zone run in case DeAndre Swift cuts it back. But I have never seen a 3-technique defensive end unblocked. Hell, they missed the front side defensive tackle too. So Caleb gets immediate pressure and the play is completely blown up. The Bears did not score an offensive touchdown in Caleb Williams' debut, but yet they still won the game. However, this is not how you want to start out a superstar rookie's career, regardless of the dub. He did have several batted passes on balls that would have been big-time chunks, and there were a couple of key drops like Keenan Allen should be touchdown. So it wasn't all his fault, but the things we saw him excel at in college, his accuracy, his deep ball, his arm strength, and his extend the play ability were nowhere to be found, and it's worrisome. You want to see your rookie build on the identity he formed in college and transition that into the NFL. And while we're not overreacting to one game, his debut fell far short of expectations and raised some serious cause for concern. Caleb needs to be supported by a run game, more play action, more screens, and more defined reads just so he can get his toes wet, because a guy with his play style needs a lot of confidence. He is confidence personified, and if you take that away from him with some early struggles, there could be serious ramifications. It's on Shane Waldron to learn from his mistakes and take pressure off of his rookie quarterback so that we can see the player we know Caleb is, the player he will be, a quarterback for the Chicago Bears who will dominate the league.